Hello, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do part 3, or talk about part 3 of Black Beauty. Now, bear with me that I don't really remember this, but this is about a horse named Black Beauty. Now, I believe his name is different in part 3. Yeah, in part 3, I think his name starts being Jack, to be honest, because he ends up like going to a horse fair and gets sold, and he gets sold, and he's treated very well. And it's funny because some of these are he's working as a cab horse and stuff, and he's learning about how horses were treated for the war. So in the war, they treated horses where when they used horses for the war, if the horses were wounded or anything, they would just shoot them, and that's it. And it's like an awful sight. But it's interesting because I just found that part interesting, where the old war horse kind of talks about his experience to Black Beauty or Jack. Now, Black Beauty slash Jack, because that's his new owner named him Jack. So his old owner named him Black Beauty and stuff. And I think it's interesting as well, like that he has a different name throughout. Like, I didn't realize that while I was reading. I was like, oh wait, they named him Jack. So it was like really interesting. Also, the Black Beauty gets treated really well, so it's not like he doesn't. In this section, he gets treated really well, so there's not really a lot of bad things that happen. I think in the second part is when he gets treated like very kind of like tightening his jaw thing, or the reins on his jaw, so that he can like pull higher or something. And that was really the only thing. And getting a stone stuck in his foot, where he can't like really walk, and he's like not walking very good for a couple of days or a couple of months. I don't remember really well. But yeah, it was pretty interesting, like his cab life, because the guy doesn't like, he ends up taking, I think he ends up working like the whole week as a cab driver, but then the owner ends up like taking Sundays off because that's the resting day. And this one also has a lot of mention of God and Jesus and stuff. So, and how Sunday is a resting day, so we need to rest and stuff like that. There's also a fire. I don't remember if I mentioned that before, but there was a fire in this book, which I thought was really interesting, in how horses, like, they just stand
You
still
can make so many guys with this whistle.
Yeah.
This guy and this guy, even this kind of robot which it talks, and this robot doesn't talk. It's his pet robot, and it follows wherever she goes.
Yeah.
But this guy isn't that good robot. He sets his internet is down when he goes like that.
Yeah.
And he rolls also.
So they like talk about that. The owner also gets sick at some point, but he doesn't die. He just gets sick. And he always talks to people who treat the horses badly. So he's like a good horse who wants the horses to be treated good. And yeah, I'll show you the pictures in this section. So hold on. To 30. Perfect. So this first part is them kind of going to the horse fair to be sold. Well, no. This is one of the cab drivers. This one also takes place in London, if I mentioned it. So yeah, but I always read it and then I do a review or some sort of talk about it. So yeah. I don't really write notes. I probably should, but you know, I'm almost done. So yeah. There is him laying down. I don't remember that one. And here is a man driving him. Oh, they also talk about, I think, horse being used as glue, which I think is in the movie. I'm not really 100% positive. So, yeah, I am going to be watching the movies after this. So, it'll be exciting to see how much or how, because I really enjoyed the movies. I think it's different than, and this is the children taking care of Black Beauty when Black Beauty gets sick, or actually Jack, because yeah, and actually they're saying goodbye. I think they're saying goodbye because this one says he gets sold to someone, so I'm hoping that he gets sold to a good thing. This doesn't remind me of a lot of good horse stories I've read, like the Black Stallion. Love that one. That one's about war, or like, what do you call it? A wild horse. Black Beauty is not a wild horse. He was raised in a farm, and so he is very calm, and he's a very what do you call it? Like he forgives people more, and he's okay with people. He doesn't struggle, whereas wild horses will struggle. Like, what the heck is going on? And they will struggle. Also, War Horse, which I watched the movie. I haven't read the book though, War Horse, so I can't really compare the book. But the movie War Horse is like super good as well. I love the movie so much, and I believe there's a musical too. So yes, I love War Horse so much, and it's just like, I like horse movies. I don't know if I like this book, but I do recommend it for probably older kids, like I would say teenagers actually, but I would say like teenagers or older kids, like maybe 13 or something and up, or 12 and up, because I think this book does deal with a lot of like, it's set in the past, so you have to explain things to them, like what's happening and stuff, but it also deals with, like, death and cutting people's ears off and stuff like that, like what humans do to animals, like dogs and horses and other kind of animals and stuff, and how they make them look beautiful, or what they would consider. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'll be probably reading it, starting it again, and reading the next section. And yeah, so I do really enjoy this book. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of, to me, I think like, the idea of God in this book is a little too strong. I do think that God is mentioned a lot in this book. I am not really a fan. I'm a fan, like, okay, so get me on this. I like mythology and stuff like that. This doesn't have really any mythology. It just talks about God and how they give you have to have, rest, and you have to take care of yourself and all that stuff with the Lord, and praying and stuff like that, which I think is interesting, but I also feel like it's not for me. Like, I just, I believe in a God and I believe in God, but I just feel like um the book like pushed it too much. It was just shoving it down your throat. Like, you have to believe in this. And it's kind of like, you have to be a good person. And if you don't believe in God, you're not a good person. And I'm like, I don't believe that, because there's a lot of people with different belief systems. And that's the only qualm I had with this book. I felt like it was trying to shove down the religion down your throat in order to really like appreciate this book. But I mean, it's okay. This is a great children's book, but I do think that the mention of God, if you are not Christian or not a really high believer in God, then I think, or this book probably shouldn't be even read. Like, if you're Buddhist, or if you're Muslim, or if you're something of that nature, this shouldn't be read, because it has a lot of mention of the Lord in it. And I think, some people don't appreciate that, obviously, because they have a different religion. Now, they might believe in a higher power person, but all our stuff is different. All our myths are different. I mean, yeah. So yes. So yeah, and that's all I really wanted to talk to you about, because I felt like while I was reading this, I just felt like I was being shoved down my throat every time. And I was just like, that's not. I mean, it's not enjoyable to any extent to that. So yeah. Yeah. And that is it for my, sorry, I just like wipe my nose. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm currently reading right now, just because I wanted to kind of film about it instead of put all the stuff. I'm currently reading Briar's book. I'm really enjoying this so far. But this is takes place in a fantasy world, which there are mages. And this is definitely something that I've been wanting to read for a while, because I read the first 3. I read the third book back in a while, and here is a beautiful map. Oh my gosh. And this book follows Briar, but it also follows the other girls. So there's Briar, Trish, Sandra, and Dasha. 4 characters, really. Briar is the only boy in there. And Briar's friend actually, Bobby, don't play with that. Briar's friend, Bobby, don't play with that. I told you no. You can't do that. But Briar's friend gets a disease, and he ends up helping his friend. And they are trying to figure out the disease, and this disease has killed, I think 75 people have died from the disease, I think, and 100 people has at least contained the disease in the Somerset. So this is like a spreading virus. I like the beginning of it anyway. So getting all the kind of weird feelings, like, because right now in this area, we are dealing with the coronavirus. So we have not found a cure for that. So I'm really, really excited. I mean, even though it's kind of taking place in a fantasy world, it's happening right here on Earth. On Earth, is happening. So yes. But this one I'm reading for, I think I'm reading for Alice in Wonderland themed. I don't remember the things, but I think I'm reading this one for the first book. And yeah, because it's in another world, I think. And it's definitely in a different world. I love this map. So right now they're at Eden's house, I think, or Odai's house right now. Excuse me, finding out about that. On my audiobook, I am reading. Let me look it up. Loading. Hold on. I am reading the Silk. Why is this like doing this? Let's go to a library. But I am reading The House of Silk by Anthony Horowitz, and this one is basically about it's a Sherlock Holmes novel, but there's a murder that happened, and we are trying to figure out who did it, and it's really interesting. It's actually underage, so but I am excited to read that and focus on that. I'm also really excited to continue reading this one. And yeah, and I will be continuing reading this one later on tonight when I do bedtime with my son. Because I do read this to my son, even though it's probably not age appropriate for him. It just helps him go to sleep because they're not long chapters. They're like, chapters. And then that way he can go to sleep and go to bed. But anyway, that is my kind of talk about part 3. If I enjoyed this so far and stuff like that. So, and that's it. And I hope you have a rest of the nice day. The rest of the day, a good day, and I will see you later in the next video. Bye.